Wycombe Wanderers are your early door leaders over in League One after they kick off their campaign with an absolute thriller. Who's going to cause challenge for them this coming weekend? We're going to take a little look next. That's right, folks. Bam's giving another prediction video today. We're taking a look at match number 2. That's right. Of course, over in this season's EFL League One campaign. And we'll get to that in just 1 second. If you're new, where you been? Smash your subscribe and bang out today. All things League One related, Blackburn Rovers related, world football related. We got it all here, boys. Under one roofski, of course, we are looking forward to match number 2. Of course, Wycombe, Peterborough, Forest Green Rovers amongst the others, of course, getting off to an absolute treat, who will, of course, continue their 100% reign this coming weekend. We'll take a look at it, all of it in a minute. Of course, big shout out, of course, to those VIPs. They are the patrons. But anyway, let's get into it, of course, and have a little look at this. It is, of course, Sky Bet League One action. And then we are going to take a little look then, shall we? Of course, the results. Here we go. I believe these are right. Accrington Stanley against Charlton. My prediction is on the left, the real deal's on the right. 2-1 was my pick, 2-2 was the final score there. Good comeback, I think it was Stanley that did the comeback. Bristol Rovers, they lost to Forest Green Rovers. The Vegans off to an absolute fantastic start as well over in League One. Cambridge United with a big 1-0 win over MK Don. Surprise, surprise, I actually went the other way. Cheltenham with a big 2-0, 3-2 loss there. 2-0 win was for me. Sammy Smodic involved, now a Rovers player. Derby County, big 1-0 win over Oxford United. Can they do it? The first time I'm asking. Meanwhile, Morecambe drew with Shrewsbury Town there. Ipswich and also Bolton drew 1-1. Although I did actually terrible. Look at my picks. Lincoln City with a 1-1 draw against Exeter City. I went with a 2-1 win myself. Plymouth got a win over Barnsley. Oh, with a 2-2 draw there. Port Vale with a win over Fleetwood. I called it, boys. I went with the 1-0 win myself. 2-1 it was indeed. 6-goal thriller down at Hillsborough. I went with a 2-1 win for Wednesday. And Wycombe, big winners over Burton. Albion, of course. Those are the state of play there. This is, of course, the league right now. As you can see, Wycombe are leading the charge with Peterborough hot on the heels. The Vegans, Port Vale, Cambridge United, Derby and Plymouth are unbeaten. They are, of course, 100% success rate so far. And, of course, as of right now, the team's going down. MK Dons, Oxford United, Barnsley and Burton. Will they be there at the bottom of this season? I don't think so. But what about you guys? How did you get on with your prediction league? Well, here you go. Of course, a brand new squeaky clean prediction league. And Blue Jacks Plays is up there along the leaders with Shepherd, JF, of course, Vinny Hong, James P. and Richard Dawson are your leaders with 6 out of 12 there. Not too shabby. Of course, a couple of us down there with 1s, Winky and Ultra Murat. Not the greatest start for you guys, but it is a long old season. Rome was not won in a day, but this is, of course, the state of play for right here, right now. Take a look then, of course, at the link. It is brand new. Of course, you can still get involved and plenty of time, so don't worry if you missed week number 1. You've still got a whole bunch of time. Anyway, Cutley Fortress League 1, free to enter. It is on the Google form, and it is free to everybody. Meanwhile, let's take a look at the games then, shall we? Of course, down the bottom of the screen here is the current league table. These are the picks of the games as well. So let's get into it. Of course, looking forward to the games kicking off as well on Saturday, August the 6th. We're going to jump in the deep end with Bolton up against, of course, table toppers Wycombe Wanderers, of course. Now, these two sides have played each other 4 times since 2019. 4 was for Wycombe, nothing for Bolton, and 0 draws. Bolton, though, without a win in 3 now, 67% form for them up against the Wycombe side, who have won 3 and lost 3 over the last 6. That's 50% form for them. Biggest win for Wycombe over Bolton was a 2-0 win. In fact, Wycombe has scored 7 goals against Bolton, who have yet to score against Gareth Ainsworth's boys. Last time I played each other over in Bolton, it was a 2-0 win for Wycombe. That's back in January 2022. And like I said, unbeaten, 4 games in a row, 4 games without conceding a goal against Bolton. Will it be a 5th? We'll see about that. Bolton with the draw against Ipswich, of course, on opening day on the road. Wycombe, of course, with a big 3-0 win over Burton on the road. The odds on this one then, 6-5 is your Bolton. Of course, 9-4 is draw, 9-4 is also your Wycombe Wanderers. I think I'm back in Bolton here to get a result. 2-1 win for them. But again, Wycombe will be looking to make it 2 from 2 this coming Saturday. Burton Albion need to bounce back up against Barton's boys. That's right, Bristol Rovers coming at you at the Pirelli. Played to 11 times since 2011. We've got 5 wins for Burton, 3 for Bristol Rovers, and 3 draws as well. Floyd's boys, 1 win and 6 for them, 17% form up against Barton's boys. Of course, 4 wins in the last 6 games. Of course, 67% form heading into this. The biggest win for Burton over Bristol Rovers, a 2-0 win. The biggest win the other way, a 7-1 win for Bristol Rovers. They scored, in fact, 15 goals compared to Burton's 10. Works out about 1.36 goals a game compared to Burton's 0.91. Moving on, of course, last time I at the Pirelli, it was a 1-0 win for Burton back in March 2021, and Burton are unbeaten against Bristol Rovers for the last 5 occasions, picking up 3 wins and a couple of draws as well, and 3 wins on the bounce over at the Pirelli. Moving forward, of course, Bristol Rovers did lose to the Vegans. Of course, Burton did lose to Wycombe. The odds here, 31-20 is your Burton, 7-4 is your away win, and 23-10 is your draw. Back in Burton here to lose, and Barton's boys to win on match day number 2. Charlton Athletic against Derby, that's right, coming at the Vale. That's right, Ben Garner against Liam Rossina, 2 managers, recently hired. Played each other 25 times in 1993, 5 wins for Charlton, 13 wins for Derby, and we've got 7 draws between them. Just 1 win and 6 though for Charlton right now, but Derby, 3 wins, 3 defeats over the last 6 games. That's 50% form for them heading into this. Charlton, though, of course, biggest win over Derby, 3-0 win, the biggest win the other way, also a 3-0 win. Derby scoring 39 goals compared to Charlton's 28, works out about 1.56 goals a game compared to Charlton's 1.12. As for the last time I played each other over at Charlton, it was a 3-0 win for Charlton back in October 2019. Charlton drew with Accrington on opening day. Derby did beat Oxford United. Coming at you though, the odds 7-4 is your Charlton, 13-8 is your Derby, 11-5 is your draw. Some good players for Derby these days. 2-0 loss though to Charlton for me on this one. Meanwhile, Exeter City up against Port Vale. That's right, of course, both sides newly promoted from League 2. And again, this game last season was in the 4th tier. Exeter coming at you though, played Port Vale 15 times in 2008. 7 wins for Exeter, 6 for Port Vale, and 2 draws. Exeter just 1 defeat past 6 games for them, 67% form. Up against Port Vale, 1 defeat at the past 6 as well, 83% form for them as well. The biggest win over each other, 2-0 win respectively, but Exeter have scored 15 goals compared to Port Vale's 12 over the course of those 15 matches. Works out around about a goal a game for Exeter, 0.8 goals a game for Port Vale. Last time I played each other over in Exeter was a 1-0 win for Port Vale back in May 2022. In fact, Exeter haven't scored a goal against Port Vale in the last 4 occasions, of course. Good record recently for Port Vale. Can they add to it? 11-8 is your Exeter, 2-1 is your Port Vale. What we got in the middle, 11-5 is your draw. I'm back in Exeter to get a win here, 2-1 for them over Port Vale. Barnsley, they're in action up against Cheltenham. Let's get in the deep end on this. Now these two sides have played each other just twice in 2003. 2 wins, 2 for Barnsley, nothing for Cheltenham, and 0 draws. Just 1 win, in fact 1 defeat past 6 for Barnsley right now, 58% form. Up against the Cheltenham side who have won 2, lost 3 and drawn 1. That's 42% form for them moving forward. Biggest win for Barnsley over Cheltenham in competitive action was a 3-1 win way back in February 2003. That was in Cheltenham. They haven't played each other in Barnsley for a long time. Meanwhile, Barnsley opened up with a 1-0 loss to Plymouth. And of course, Peterborough did beat Cheltenham 3-2 last time around. The odds on this one then, shall we? What we got going on here? What have we got going on here? 10-7 on is your Barnsley, 5-2 is your draw, 17-4 is your Cheltenham on this one. 0-0 for me on this one. Of course, Barnsley's coach or gaffer, formerly of Cheltenham, so a bit of a thing going on there, I imagine. Meanwhile, Fleetwood Town up against Plymouth. Argyle coming at you over at Fleetwood. Played each other 12 times in 2012. 5 wins for Fleetwood, 4 wins for Plymouth, and 3 draws as well. Fleetwood, though, managed by Scott Brown up against Plymouth. Stephen Schumacher in the dugout. The biggest win for Fleetwood over Plymouth, 5-1 win. The biggest win the other way, 4-0 win. In fact, Fleetwood scored 21 goals compared to Plymouth, 16 over the course of the 12 games. Works out around about 1.75 goals a game for the hosts, and 1.33 goals a game for Plymouth. However, Fleetwood have lost 4 and about 17% form for them, up against the 50% rated Plymouth, who won 2, lost 2, and drawn 2 over the last 6. Last time I played over at Fleetwood, though, was a 3-3 draw. I was back in January 2022. Plymouth opened up their account with a 1-0 win over Barnsley. Of course, Fleetwood with a 2-1 loss to Fleetwood Town. The odds on this one were 21-10 is your Fleetwood, 23-20 is your Plymouth, 11-4 is your draw. Going to go with a 1-0 win for Fleetwood Town on this to take it to the house. The Vegans, they lock horns up against Ipswich Town, who had a bit of a stuttered start. Of course, and this is going to be an extra tricky, as of course they're taking the Vegans for the first time. Forest Green, though, 50% form for them, 1-2, lost 2, and drawn 2 over the last 6, up against the Ipswich Town side, who've just lost once in the last 6 games, 67% form for them heading into this. Of course, Ipswich with a draw against Bolton last round. That was at home. The Vegans with a 2-1 win against Bristol Rovers on the bloody road. Of course, the odds coming at you for this one, we have, of course, 14-5 is your Vegans, 23-10 is your draw, and evens, bloody Stevens, is your Ipswich Town. I'm back in the Vegans here with another win, 2-1 win for them. Could they make it double to promotions in a row? We'll have to wait and see. MK Dons need to bounce back, and of course, they go up against one of the bigger boys, of course, Sheffield Wednesday. That's right. Played each other 32 times in 1993, 11 wins to MK Dons, 10 wins to Sheffield Wednesday, and 11 draws, of course. Just 1 defeat, though, in the past 5 games for MK Dons, 58% form. Against the Sheffield Wednesday side, just 1 win in the last 6, and then 42% form as well. Biggest win for MK Dons over Wednesday, 5-0 win. The biggest win in the way was a 5-1 win. Now, of course, the hosts have scored 52 goals compared to Sheffield Wednesday's 50 over the course of those 32 games. Works out around about 1.63 goals a game compared to Sheffield Wednesday's 1.56. So goals in this game, and of course, none better than the last time they played at the Stadium MK. It was a 3-2 win for Sheffield Wednesday back in April 2022. So a big win for Wednesday. In fact, Wednesday have actually picked up unbeaten run against MK Dons over the last 3. A couple of wins and a draw to boot. Wednesday opened up with a goal scoring affair against Portsmouth, 3-3 draw in the end. MK Dons with a big loss to Cambridge, 1-0 last round. The odds on this one then, 2-1 is your host, 11-5 is your 7-5 is of course your away win on this. Gonna go with a win for MK Dons. No, I'm not gonna go with a 2-2 draw round in the middle. Another goal scoring affair. Moving forward, Oxford United up against Cambridge United. It's the boat race. That's right, coming at you at the Kazan. Played each other 21 times in 2003. 7 wins for Oxford, 5 wins for Cambridge. Cambridge, and 9 draws as well. Oxford, though, without a win in 3, now 58% form. Up against Cambridge, of course, picked up 2 wins in the last 6 games. That's 42% form moving forward. Oxford, though, biggest win over Cambridge, 3-0 win, the biggest win the other way, a 5-1 win. Oxford scored 29 goals compared to Cambridge 27 over the course of these 21 games. Works out about 1.38 goals a game compared to Cambridge 1.29. Last time played at the Kazan was a big 4-2 win for Oxford back in February 2022. That was in League One as well. In fact, the home side hasn't lost this game since Cambridge beat Oxford back in 2008, and that was in the National League. Oh my goodness. Cambridge were the one win over MK Dons. Of course, Oxford did lose to Derby County. The odds on this one, though, 6-4 on is your Oxford on this one, 13-5 is your, and 70-4 is your away win on this. Going to go with Oxford here, 2-1 win for them. Get back to anyways, and again, move up the chains. Meanwhile, Peterborough take on Morecambe, of course, Sammy Smodich's Lus Peterborough, of course, up against Morecambe, and Derek Adams, of course, played each other 2 times, 2007, nothing for Peterborough, 1 for Morecambe, and 1 draw. Just 1 defeat over the past 6 games for Peterborough right now, 75% form for them, up against a Morecambe side who pick up 1 win at the last 6 games, about 50% form moving forward. The biggest win for Morecambe over Peterborough, in fact, the only win was a 3-2 win as well. That was back in League 2 over in Morecambe. However, last time played each other in Peterborough, it was a 1-1 draw back in September 2007. Posh opened up with their account with a 3-2 win over Cheltenham. Morecambe with a steady Eddie draw against Shrewsbury Town. The odds on this one then, shall we? Got Peterborough 13-8 on for the victory. We've got 14-5 short, and 92 is your Morecambe FC. 2-1 win for the hosts. They'll, of course, continue their reign at the top of the table with another win. Pompey will lock horns against Lincoln, of course, coming at you at Fratton Park. Now, these two sides have locked horns 6 times in 2019, 5 for Pompey, 1 for Lincoln, and 0 draws. Of course, Portsmouth, though, just 1 defeat past 6 for them, 67% form, up against the Lincoln City side, who have just 1 win in 6 for them, 42% form moving forward. Biggest win for Portsmouth over Lincoln, 3-0 win. The biggest win the other way, a 1-0 win. In fact, Portsmouth have scored 12 goals to Lincoln's 4 over the course of the 6 games. Works out about 2 goals for Pompey, 0.67 for Lincoln City on this one. Last time played at Fratton Park was a 3-2 win for Pompey. That was back in April 2022. In fact, Pompey back-to-back games over Lincoln, both home and away. Of course, scoring 6 goals over the course of the 2 games. Meanwhile, Portsmouth did score 3 against Sheffield Wednesday, but they could only muster a draw, as did Lincoln, as they drew with Exeter City on this one. The odds for this one then, shall we? Portsmouth 11-8 on for the victory, 35 short, 50-4 is your away win here. Going to go Pompey here, 3-1 win for them to take it to the house. And then wrapping up is Shrewsbury. It is Accrington. It is, of course, also on Saturday, August the 6th. Now, these two side players are 25 times to 3, 12 wins for the Shrews, 6 for Accrington, and 7 draws as well. Shrewsbury, though, haven't won the last 10 games, of course, 25% form for them moving forward. Meanwhile, Accrington Stanley just 1 defeat to the past 6, 67% form for them moving on as well. The biggest win there for Shrewsbury over Accrington was a 4-0 win. The biggest win the other way was a 2-0 win. In fact, Shrewsbury scored 35 goals compared to Accrington's 24 over the course of those 25 games. Works out around 1.4 goals for Shrewsbury and 0.96 for Accrington Stanley. Last time played at Shrewsbury was a 0-0 draw. That's back in December 2021. Accrington Stanley unbeaten against Shrewsbury over the last 5, picking up 2 wins and 3 draws as well. Accrington, though, with a draw against Charlton on opening day. That was at home. Of course, Shrewsbury with a away point against Morecambe, of course, heading into this one. The odds here, though, 6-5 is your Shrewsbury, 21-10 is your Accrington, 12-5 is your draw. Of course, Shrewsbury will provide a knockout blow to Tyson's, of course, Morecambe. Oh shit, that's the wrong team. But Accrington Stanley will give him a knockout blow anyway, regardless. 1-0 win in the end. And if I'm right, which I bloody well hope so, this is what the table will look like with, of course, Pompey leading the charge, Forest Green Rovers up there as the 2 teams remaining with 100% records early doors. Of course, that's, of course, my take on it. Be sure to get your own take on as well, of course, using the old Cutley/League One free to enter Prediction League and get your name in lights. Can you be, of course, leading the charge after match number 2? That's, of course, something that will be decided on in the next week or so. But that is it, my guys. That is it. Be sure to give us some love and smash your thumbs up. Smash your subscribe. Check your links down below on Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, and of course, also on Patreon. But until then, boys and girls, we're done. Right about now.